If I'm saying that the white flag isn't here, is it because I just don't want it to be? If I'm saying it now, is it just Owen's nodding his head already? Hello, Tone. Good morning. It's good to see you, and it's good to talk to you again. I've missed you dearly, and we will get into more of that, I'm sure, during Lima Likes. But I really want to know from everybody, if I say, hey, it's not time to raise the white flag, is that just me denying it? Because I want to – because any time that we hey, you guys, you talk about them Guardians like that, and then all of a sudden they go on some run. This is as listless as it gets. He's champing at the bit in there, so I'm going to let him get in.
I know Anthony's been gone for a week, but I went on a yelling thing last week.
He went nuts.
I heard it.
Nuts.
I did hear it.
When you say raise the white flag, maybe not Ken's personal white flag for the Guardians, but the team has clearly raised the white flag.
Well, that's the whole point of it. If they don't care, then why the hell should you? Because that was – I felt bad for Gabriel Arias. I felt bad for him. That was one of the most bizarre things I had ever seen.
I thought that was 100% sure he is done for the year and might not see him again.
That's the way I felt.
I didn't see it in real time, and when you texted about what happened, I went back and watched the video, and I was expecting something way more tragic than what I saw in video. And yet, I don't know, they're saying ankle sprain now?
They had to bring the card out for crying out loud and put it in a thing.
I thought it was like when Naylor broke his leg in right field, just off of the text that I received.
It was as bad of a Guardians weekend as you can find. And
well, it seems like this team has zero chance. I was holding out hope that, all right, haven't played their best baseball. At some point there'll be a spark. They can't all hit this poorly. They can't all look like they belong in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
And yet they all look like they don't belong in the majors. And what other chance do you have? I don't, as much as I want to see all the young guys, and I hope, you get this mass call up, but I don't think that's going to help them win games. To the level that they would change their whole season. This just looks like a lost
But we're looking for any
season.
Offensive spark at all. And it seems like there's offenses, and I know it's AAA pitching to Major League pitching, but there's tons of offensive spark down in Columbus right now, and there's none in Cleveland.
It feels like it can't be worse.
I can't.
Correct.
I've said it. This is something you say in coaching. I can't want it worse than you. I can't be the one yelling. I can't go out and make plays for you. Coaches say that all the time. And you have a players-only meeting led by Austin Hedges. Then you go out on Saturday and you give up a 5-run lead. You've had one inning of scoring in the last
30 innings,
30-plus innings.
Yeah.
Somebody sent the email on it. I forget what the hell the actual number was. So you go and you give up a big lead after you have a players-only meeting. And then the next day, it's just a day at the office. We're going through the motions here. Logan Allen's working on stuff. This is
no fight from your team, no fight from your skipper. I mean, you had a game.
Well,
I know
that's another thing. You know what? I'm sorry. That started to bother me over the weekend.
Sure,
because he in there, the big man in the blue hat with the beard. I was thinking of him all weekend because on Friday when they lose, and on Saturday when they give up that lead, and then on Sunday where it's just hey, it's hot out here, and we're going to go and boot the ball around and suck up the room and give up a bunch of hits. I mean, I thought about it. I go, you had to have a players-only meeting. The manager had a chance to go, basically had a chance to go cuss himself into a win. There's another way I'd like to put it, but it's Monday morning. I mean, he had a chance to go out there and cuss out somebody and try to get something going and get something quick and maybe start to get some spark going. He missed that opportunity. Jose is out on Friday, and now I'm looking at going, well, what exactly are you doing to make this thing a better situation now? So that started to play into my frustration here. So again, if I say the white flag isn't being raised, it's just because I don't want it to be raised. But I think everybody else can look at it and go, Kenny, what are you holding on to? Because they're not even holding on to it right now. They're not doing it. And they gave their press conference. They had their press conference. Antonetti talked. Chernoff did the interviews here, trying to calm some things down. And it's when you got Zach Meisel writing the type of articles that he's writing here, what's stopping me from just saying white flag funeral music? Here we go.
Probably just that they're in the American League. I mean, that's the only reason.
No, it's not even that. It's not even that.
Well, then just say it. Why are you asking me? Just say it.
I don't know.
Like we all
don't
think,
know what's stopping.
We
me.
all think this team is done for, right? Like nobody here thinks this team's going to make a surge.
They're not a real team, but they're still going to be competitive in the wild card race because of the American League. But they're not a real Major League Baseball team.
And even in baseball, where every team
not right now.
Once they make the postseason, you're like, all right, I can talk myself into it, which is what I did before I went off the air for a week. I was saying, hey, this is a pitching staff no one's going to want to see in the playoffs. I'm wrong. I mean, nobody will care about the pitching staff because it's an offense that every team would want to see in the postseason. So they've got no shot. They're not magical. They're not going to make a run. Last year looks like an aberration now because it just David Fry was an all-star. Like, come on. Like, that's not going to happen again. You don't have Naylor. Lane Thomas, it's just been a disastrous year.
When you do get popped from guys like Manzardo, who's given you a little bit of
you sit him the next game?
You sit him the next game.
Yeah, that we do have to talk. Like we can rip into Vogt now. This is a piss poor season from the manager, right?
You go back to what he's done with the bullpen and again, some of the moves that they've made where I think that he is a little bit old Mother Hubbard with the bullpen because we're going to bring Matt Derry on. I mean, I know Matt's been screaming about, my God, I mean, even a guy like Pedro Avila, you let him leave and you bring in Paul Sewald. Paul Sewald, to call him, to say he looks like some other occupation would just be an insult to that occupation right now. So I'm not even going to start to make comparisons and try to be funny about it. It is a situation.
And that's a $7 million contract
sucks.
For a team that can't hand out any contracts that turn out bad.
Sucks the moment worse. And what makes me feel truly bad about this is I have what looks like have denied the truth. I mean, I have tried to. I mean, Zach, I asked him on Friday, Tone, and he gave me no quarter at all about the whole TV deal stuff, that whole stuff. I mean, he called it an excuse. And it makes you feel stupid. It makes you feel like you're just carrying water for him. And so that's kind of how I felt. And over the weekend, you keep waiting for the worm to turn, things to get going again, and it doesn't get going again. And they make you out to feel like a fool. They really do. Because that was, again, you get Jose Ramirez hurt. You do nothing about it. And I heard Spencer talking about it at 8 a.m. on Saturday because we were at the football shed. That's what football guys do. And then I coached first base over the weekend, too. You know that, Owen. And I heard Spencer talking about it's like, well, we aren't going to get a chance to retaliate until next year. It's like, well, what's the chance to retaliate next year? What's the point? Wait until next year? Everything. Well, you know what? Everything of the season seems to be waiting until next year already. So maybe you will retaliate next year for the retaliation against you hitting a guy 2 days in a row with Vlad Guerrero Jr. But you missed your opportunity. So you leave it to Steve. You leave it to Austin Hedges to try to get people excited about it. He can't get anybody excited. Again, you give up that lead, and then what happens on Sunday? And I'm just denying truth right now, it seems. I'm just denying it because a lot of times in the past when we've shot our mouth off, they've come back to bite you. And you could say what you want to about the wild card, but saying that the rest of the American League isn't good is not an argument for this baseball team because they ain't jumping into anything. They ain't buying anybody. Carlos Santana's gone as soon as possible. And then we'll talk about whoever else, maybe Emmanuel Clase, because they really don't have anything else to give up. What else are you going to give up? What are you going to get back? What am I going to give up? Yes.
I can't wait for them to trade Carlos Santana.
Now he can't wait.
I cannot wait for it because it means that they're going to be forced to at least place someone else. And it's not that I don't like Carlos or what he's doing or appreciate his veteran or the 3 trips to Cleveland, but it's the only way that CJ Kayfus can maybe make an appearance in the major leagues this year. You've got Jonathan Rodriguez in right field who can't even play the position correctly. Plus he's not hitting. Nolan Jones hits it off the wall every once in a while, but he's not great out there. You can't get Chase DeLauder up here to maybe take a rest day in Cleveland instead of take a rest day in Columbus.
The only thing,
it's horrible.
The only thing good right now, the only thing you can say that's actually good is basically the way they treat you when you go into the ballpark. At least they got that going for you.
I did go Saturday, and it was a phenomenal time.
At least the guest relations are nice. The fan relations.
Oh, and I asked I had an in-law that went to the baseball game. He was in town this week, brother-in-law, and I was like, what'd you think? I mean, you went to the only game where there were any fireworks whatsoever, where they could muster any offense whatsoever. And he's like, yep, hey, the bar was packed. You still have that going?
Yeah.
Well,
like he said, it was a great crowd.
The new area in down the third baseline, that new bar is amazing. It's a great time. The social area.
But is that what it's going to be? I mean, the rest of the summer, it's going to be about hopefully seeing kids.
I'll get to see.
And that's it. It feels
I'll
very
get to see my people that work there, and they're awesome to talk to, and some of the best people that I've met that I didn't know previously.
Doesn't it feel very, very Pittsburgh Pirates? No, and I know we're way better than them still, but it feels like the rest of the season is going to be about that. Having good weekends, going to a ballpark, and that's about it.
Well, it feels very Lake County. It feels very Akron. Let's have a good experience here.
That's what it is.
Well, bark at the park.
I can go out and see the Crushers, the independent league Crushers that are 3 minutes away from my door, and know every usher that's working out there and half the people that are in the, team cells and things like that, and have a good time. And my kids can eat cheap hot dogs, and it'll be much cheaper than I've spent. $150 a month for now on 4 months.
Well, is this so bad that you would? Is this so bad? Because I've seen people say they're canceling their subscription to the TV side of things because they're month by month
too as well. And
is this so bad where you would say, "All right, I'm out for July," like done before the 4th of July? Is there a mode? Like we always say, well, we're not going to tell you how to spend money or anything, but I'm hearing it from people like they're going to capitalize on good weather doing other things. Like they're not going to sit inside and watch a baseball team that has no chance.
Went to the pool yesterday. Had the opportunity to watch another game yesterday. Went to the pool.
I mean, you have the Cubs, the Tigers. You're at Chicago, the Cubs, home against the Tigers, back on the road against the Astros, and then if you finally have the White Sox on the 11th or 10th, you finally have the White Sox on the 10th. You're 40-42. You've scored in one inning in the last 30 plus.
You have a worse run differential than the Pirates, by the way, who are 15 games below 500.
You're bleeping me. Okay. So the only one saying that not to raise the white flag is me just because I want to.
Well, you don't want to. You just want to have something to talk about because this is the darkest. This is on the sports calendar. This is the deadest time of the year.
I personally can't raise the white flag yet. I've invested too much into it. So now I'm just digging a hole, hoping that we come out on the other side.
But do you and I know the truth? Do you and I know the truth?
Oh, I know the truth.
And a lot of folks, and again,
that's what sucks is I'm going to walk in there every time that we go, well, we'll leave in the 4th inning because they're going to bleep the bet again.
And if Miles was saying it, and Matt Derry, who was going to join us at 9:22 this morning, if he's saying it as well, then it becomes a very unforgivable thing for a lot of fans out there. Because if I can't sit there, and I'm going to ask Matt about it, because Zach said, absolutely not. You can't give that as an excuse about the television contract stuff. Okay, well, if I can't give that as an excuse, then you sat there and let this team get worse after being in the ALCS. And I understand. I can talk about the Yankees and their payroll all I want, and the Dodgers and the Mets and their payrolls all I want, but that doesn't matter to a fan. They don't need to hear about that. They don't want to hear about that. In fact, they've been hearing about it too long. So that's the worst part of this season. It's not about it just going bad. It's that if this continues and we keep hearing about, you know what, the television contract situation isn't as dire as what you're led to believe, and then that's when you really lose them. I mean, you've lost a lot already, but that's to the point where it's like, all right, buddy, you know what? You kept the team in Cleveland. You got the lease signed long-term. You got the stadium stuff taken care of. Now it's time for you to bow out. Now it's time for you, because you can only defend so much. It is supposed to be professional sports, and it's supposed to be more than just, hey, we got hot dogs on this day and we got fireworks on that day. Because, again, that's what Lake County does, and that's what Akron does. That's what the Crushers do. The Toledo Mud Hens, the Columbus that's what minor league baseball does. Get them into the ballpark, get a family experience. We advertise cheap tickets all the time. That's what minor league baseball does. Get them on into the ballpark and have a repeatable, fun experience. That's what it is. It's just to be what? It's just to be entertaining. And I was starting to get that little tinge earlier in the month. I mean, 9-16 this month. That's how they're going to end it. It's not as bad as it gets, but it's plenty bad. And at 40-42, it just doesn't look like it's going to get any better. You're having players-only meetings, and you put together one inning of good hitting, and you hit like crazy, and then you gave up that lead. And then Sunday was terrible. So I don't know what you got to find in Chicago, but you better find it soon. Can we just get one more little thing in here? The Antonetti clip from Saturday when Chris is talking about the hitters are just going to be just fine.
Yeah, we're going through a tough stretch right now offensively. For the last month, we haven't been at our best scoring runs, but I continue to believe in the group of players that are here. And it's really hard to be consistently successful at the major league level for anyone. And it's really hard for a young group to do that consistently. And, we are in the process of working through that. But I think as we look forward, the results will be better from here than they've been over the last month. I don't think the last month is indicative of the potential of the guys that are on the roster.
As frustrating as it is, there's one legitimate reason other than my own psyche. There's two reasons that people are giving me, but the one of them is actually legitimate. Kevin on Twitter reactions brought to you by Scheibman Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Tone. He's saying, well, you don't want to raise the white flag because it's early. It's not early, but you're only halfway through the year. And it's not football season yet. And I go, I just don't want to have to talk. I don't want to have to just, hey, let's get some good baseball just before football season, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. It's like I want all three teams to matter. I do. Now, I know a lot of people think that way, and I'm not going to begrudge them because that's up to the Guardians, and that's up to them to change that. So I want all three teams to matter. The other thing is that, man, the second half of this schedule, Tone, it is garbage. You have one of the easiest schedules in professional baseball over the second half of your schedule. I mean, you got the A's in here. You got Baltimore in here, which has been sucking up the room. They fired their manager early. Colorado sucks. The Mets have been bad recently. You have Chicago. They suck. Miami, they suck. Atlanta's been rough this year. Tampa Bay's tough. Seattle's a nothing, even though they swept you. So there is opportunity here. There is opportunity here for you to go after it. We'll find out more with Derry coming up at 9:22 this morning.
So Antonetti, he got kind of casually says, we're not exactly hitting it. We're not exactly hitting our best. And I'm like, they are worse statistically, offensively, than this historically bad Colorado Rockies team in like 7 categories.
Oh, my God.
I'm looking right now. They are worse batting average. They are worse slugging. They are worst on base plus slugging.
I'm trying.
Than the Rockies, who have 19 wins? 19. Is that where they're at? So could have
made money on the Rockies.
25 games in the month of June. They scored over 4 runs. So they scored 5 or more 3 times. They lost 2 of those games.
Oh, and I can't believe they're not dead last in every offensive category. How could there be worse offense? I know we don't watch the other teams like we do in the other sports. How could they not be dead last? How are there teams that are worse offensively in any category than the Guardians? Because I feel like I've never seen a worse offensive team in my life.
Well, we used to hate when Tito would manufacture a run, right? I'd take a couple manufactured runs right now.
I would 3D print a run right now.
To squeeze somebody coming across home plate right now by any means necessary. A balk, I'll take it.
The woodwork, whatever they do, if they have to make the ancient Chinese pottery where they take the sand and they fire the sand and then they put it in there, I will do that for one single run right now. Give me a run an inning, please. A run every other inning. Just some level of some consistency. More on that coming up.
It's so bad. It's so bad that they trotted out Antonetti, like for no reason.
Cavs.
There's no timely reason to bring out Antonetti.
Went on radio too.
Yeah, the fact that these guys are talking.
They're trying to calm you down.
Guys, is that not?
I know it ain't working, but I'm telling you what they're trying to do.
Is that not the white flag? They would never do that.
They know the only because Stephen Kwan can't do it, and Stephen Vogt can't do it either. I don't think Stephen Kwan would want to do it. Stephen Vogt is not going to calm anybody down. Is there anything that Stephen Vogt has said at all in these post games that go, hey, everything's going to be just fine? And I know he's the manager of the year. So the only people that have, Chris Antonetti's been here how long? 20 plus years now? Mike Chernoff's been here for at least a dozen, for crying out loud. You've had both of these guys here for a long time. Yeah, they're going to march him out there. Because you know why? Because they're trying to sell you on the rest of this season not being as bad as what we're making it out to be and what we're feeling it out to be. And then the future's going to be bright. Because I've already changed my goal for him because I'm settling now for the rest of the year. And I'm thinking if I can find 4 pitchers under the age of 26 that are starters, then I'm going to be just fine. Carlos Santana, guys, I can bitch and moan and be as red-faced as you possibly want me to. I just assume he's gone. And that eventually you will bring in CJ Cave, as Zach wrote about yesterday. And at some point, you have to bring Chase DeLauder up. It's still, something has to happen.
Wasn't at some point like 2 weeks ago?
You can't keep a good kid down.